Hi everyone, I'm Shane Harris, bringing you part number 2 of my Shane Harris Extra, focusing on my creator cars on NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup. In the previous part, we talked about the modifieds and the Craftsman trucks. This time, in part 2, we're going to talk about the Busch series, aka the Xfinity series, and the Nextel Cup series cars, the traditional, more conventional sedans that get to become a part of our life throughout the spring to fall every year on Saturdays and Sundays and sometimes Friday nights. Just like my previous part, and also in my NASCAR Thunder 2004 created car shorts, they're all based on cartoon characters. However, there is an exception. One Cup Series car I have is modeled after a very well-known car you would see in an intro for a NASCAR telecast. So be very, very patient about it. And also enjoy what's to come. So, some of the paint scheme designs are thankfully brought over from the previous game, and you can easily recreate them. So that's good. And like I said in the previous part, Pontiac is a no-go in this game, so I had to hop over to Ford. So we have my OKKO Let's Be Heroes inspired car right here with Food Lion on the hood. Why did I say OKKO? Well, just look at it. And into my paint colors, the front is basically the head. The red part is basically the headband, and the brown part in the rear. Wait a minute. I got a better look back here. Is basically his mullet. So basically, it's a fast-moving head. Sort of like how Corey LaJoy had that Old Spice car with his face on it. Yeah. When he drove the 32. Anyway, Food Lion is on the hood like the previous version because it is a Mid-Atlantic based chain. Scheme number 2 is Mauricia from Wayside. Again, the helmet is a perfect paint scheme for the car. Now, Nikon is not available as a sponsor in this game, so I chose Advanced Auto Parts instead. So it would be a lot easier to handle. But there is a few newcomers here. You have this, the Kroger car, featuring a design based on Kick Buttowski. You would see a bright red stripe, yellow numbers, of course yellow being the color of his boots and gloves. And it's a very plain look that's pretty iconic. And here's the funny thing, if I get into paint colors, the Ford logo fits in the stripe on the front. If you take a look at the rear, the Kroger alternative and Ford logos fit in the stripe, which is pretty neat. Plus, Indianapolis Raceway Park in Clearmont, Indiana, which features the Kroger 200 for the Busch series, that race is available in the game. But you have to unlock it through Thunder plates, unfortunately. Unlike Nazareth with the Gould's Pumps ITT Industries 200. So, yeah. And the final one of the Busch cars is one modeled after Get Ed, my MBNA car. The previous paint scheme design from Thunder 04 is not available in this game. So I decided to get creative with a new look, and one that actually looks a bit more fitting, simple, and still wavy, blue and black. So, not a bad looking car. And now we get to the big boys, the Nextel Cup cars. Now, Now, as you may remember, my Todd from Wayside car in the previous game was a Pontiac. This time, due to Pontiac not being available in 05 Chase for the Cup, I had to hop over to Ford, and I decided to come up with this. Now, funny enough, the blue and orange is sort of not far off from the iconic Gulf colors that the GT40s utilized in their Le Mans winning days. So that is pretty fun enough. Scheme number 2 is my Johnny Test car. Of course, UAW and Ford finally became sponsors of Talladega beginning in the year 2005, 1 year after the game came out, when they sponsored the fall race at Talladega. Funny enough, 05 was Dale Jarrett's final win, and 06 was Casey Mears delivering the 1-2 on Dale Jr. and Jimmy Johnson in 06. So those two races were fun, especially for NBC viewers, and for one particular person in this game, Bill Weber. He gets to do the intros for the games like if it is an actual telecast from NBC and its producers, TNT. So, kind of fun. So, unlike my previous UAW Johnny Test car I had to adjust the color to a much darker shade of blue because it wasn't easy to recreate the other shade of blue I had in Thunder 04. Meanwhile, my DN-Ace car, my Ace Ripley ride, has easy care on the hood just like the previous game. However, I made a few changes. Take a look at my paint color sections. My side is not orange and green like the title card. Instead, it matches his genetic strand and his sleeves, aka vanilla. And on the roof, you have the lime green. You have that weird green and orange from the title card now being on the hood. No, roof, excuse me. So it makes it easier for the spotters to look. So it works fine. And now for the NASCAR nerd in us. You may remember NASCAR on Fox, right? Back from 01 to 02. Specifically in those 2 years when Fox and FX really cared about the sport. You may came across this, the generic Fox sports car from the intro sequence. That was really, really good for 2001, mind you. It wasn't easy to recreate the original design of the car since, well, you don't have that much options in terms of design choices. So I had to do what I had to do best, and that is to pick which one comes closest. And the majority of the car is like a traditional front stripe, while the rear is like curved stripes on the sides. So I decided, you know what, just do a plain black, white stripe job, yeah. It works fine. Funny enough, they did use like generic Ford Taurus like graphics all the way up till 2009. Even though the Fusions were introduced in 06 and the car Tomorrow body was beginning to be used in 07, and then it went full-time in 08. So, yeah. A lot of graphics were carried over from time to time. Of course, that is all of my custom cars I have. If you want to see the other ones, check out my previous video I did here, and also check out my NASCAR Thunder 04 custom cars short list. It's in my playlist section where things are growing. Also, stay tuned for my next episode of Shane Harris Tonight, that being Stay Get Ed, next Friday night, and also stay tuned for potential live streams of my own content, a possible Q&A session, and also live coverage of the Pennsylvania Pump Primers from Harrisburg, PA next year. Guess what? There's many more things to come. including my highly anticipated Ace Ripley cosplay. So, the next time you'll see a full-fledged Shane Harris Extra video, well, it's just like a breaking news story. I'll bring it to you whenever I want to. So I'll see you then. But for now, enjoy the races.